lie all the way down. We're coming into reclining butterfly. So just letting your knees relax open. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Just go ahead and close your eyes. Allow your body to just settle into the ground. Just start to soften your energy. Start to let go of any lingering thoughts that you're holding on to. This is your moment to just kind of get your mind ready for some yoga. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, side out through your mouth. And again, inhale. Exhale, side out through your mouth. And now you can go ahead and open your eyes, draw your knees back together, and just go ahead and gently hug your knees into your chest. Just take a few rocks side to side and allow your left leg to extend as you hug your right knee in while engaging through your core. And then go ahead and take it to the opposite side, keeping a neutral spine, and switch sides, holding right here. Let's do 2 more, hugging that knee. Last one. And then hug both knees into your chest. Rock a little bit side to side once again. And then keeping your feet crossed at the ankles, just rock it forward. We're going to go ahead and come into a tabletop position. Just do a couple cat-cows to help warm up our spine. So keeping your fingers spread like you're digging into sand, keeping the shoulders right over your wrists. You're going to inhale, heart opens, keeping your feet flat on the ground. Exhale, curl your toes under, draw your chin to your chest. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale, release. And again, inhale, heart opens. Looking a little bit further up, finding that range of motion. Curl your toes under, draw your chin to your chest. And then let's go ahead and come to a neutral spine. We're going to go ahead and curl your toes under. We're going to take a nice little hover right here. So sort of in a bear crawl position, like you're ready to crawl, but we're just going to hold it right here. So you're just barely lifting off of the ground. Isometric hold, so your muscle doesn't lengthen or shorten. Keeping your core engaged. If this is a little too intense, just try it for a few seconds and then lower your knees and then pick it right back up. We're here for just a few more breaths. Just warming up our core, also warming up our upper body. And let's go ahead and take it into child's pose. So lower the knees to the ground. Bring the big toes together to touch. Let's take a wide child's pose here. Extending the arms nice and long. Forehead towards the ground. Arms reach out in front of you. Reaching your hips back towards your heels. And if you can, reach your hips all the way back towards your heels. But if you're limited by range of motion, kind of like myself, then you can just kind of push it back as far as you can. Comfortable position for you. You can always come in a child's pose if something feels uncomfortable at any moment. Let's go ahead and find our way into our first downward facing dog. So fingers are spread. Once again, coming into that upside down V shape. You're going to bend one leg at a time. Keeping that head heavy. Keeping your gaze up towards the belly button. Just bending one leg at a time. You're just kind of taking notes of your body, kind of what's happening, where you're feeling tightness, soreness. My calves are always tight. My hamstrings are always tight. So for my runners out there, that might be you. Just take a little extra time to pedal out the feet. And then we're just going to hold in that downward facing dog.
When you stay to Verbo, you always get the whole home. Because is it really a vacation home if you have to share the house?
And then we're going to lift that right leg up into downward dog split. Open up that hip. Rotate your ankle a few times one direction. A few times the opposite direction. Extend the leg, square off your hips. A little core activation. Draw the knee towards your nose, holding right here. And then just gently putting your foot down right between your hands. Ground the back heel. You're going to rise all the way up, coming into warrior one. So arms are alongside your ears, fingertips reaching up towards the ceiling, deeply bending that front leg. And my knee is kind of pointing towards the pinky side edge of my foot. My hips are squared off towards the front. Opening it up into warrior two. Arms are nice and long. Gazes over that middle finger. Relaxing the shoulders, getting nice and expansive through my chest. And now we're gonna go ahead and take it into extended side angle. So lower my forearm towards my thigh. Reach up and over alongside your ear, kind of looking right underneath that arm. And notice how I'm not kind of sinking into that shoulder, but I'm kind of keeping some space between my ear and my shoulder. Now we're gonna transition into triangle pose. So I'm gonna straighten out that front leg, bringing my hand to my ankle or shin, reaching the arm straight up towards the ceiling. Now feel free to adjust your feet if you feel like you're a little too wide and you don't have the range of movement in your legs. You can go ahead and adjust, kind of shortening your stance. Now we're gonna transition into reverse triangle. Reach all the way up and back. Keeping both legs straight and strong. You're gonna hold right here, getting that nice opening of your side body. Should feel like a really nice deep stretch down the lateral chain. Now you're just gonna go ahead and lower your arms down right around your foot. We're gonna step it into downward facing dog, and we're gonna come into our first vinyasa. So we're gonna lower knees, chest, chin, flatten out the tops of your feet, lift into baby cobra. My hands come right off of the ground. Release, keeping the knees on the ground, shift into downward facing dog. So you've gotten one side down. Now you have to find your balance and take it to the left side. So we're gonna do that same exact flow. Left leg is gonna lift, open it up into downward dog split. So you're stacking those hips, bending the knee, rotating your ankle a few times. One direction, a few times the opposite direction. Extend that leg, square off the hips, flexing the toe. Draw the knee towards your nose. And then release, stepping the foot gently right between your hands. Round that back heel, rise up. We're taking warrior one once again. Deeply bending through that front leg. Your knee is kind of pointing towards the pinky side edge of that foot. Once again, the outer edge of the foot is grounded, staying relaxed through my shoulders. Opening up, warrior two. Soft and steady gaze over that middle finger, getting nice and expansive once again through the chest. And just notice the difference between your right and your left side. Maybe one side feels stronger. So it just means you need to put a little bit more effort into one side. Lowering that forearm towards your thigh, coming into extended side angle. Looking underneath that arm, finding that space. Holding right here. Nice deep stretch down that lateral chain. Now we're going to transition coming into triangle pose. Keeping that hand on your ankle or shin. Or if you're more advanced, you can also lower your hand to the ground. Or if you have access to anything like a block or a pillow, just something that's going to prop your arm up if this is a little too intense, you can always shorten your stance. Now we're going to transition into reverse triangle. Reach all the way up. Finding that space down the left side body. And then lower both arms down around your foot, stepping it into downward facing dog. We're going to shift into high plank. You're going to lower knees, chest, chin, and then flatten out the tops of your feet, coming into baby cobra, lifting your hands off of the ground, really using the strength of your lower back, pressing back into the ground, bending your knees, taking it into downward facing dog. All right, let's go ahead and Take that right leg up once again into downward dog split. We're gonna step it through right between our hands. Once again, keeping my fingertips on the ground for stability and support here. We're gonna come into Warrior 3, sort of a variation of Warrior 3. So you can keep your fingertips on the ground, back leg is lifted, keeping the toes flexing towards the ground. You wanna really make sure that the hips stay square. So this also kind of works on stabilizing your core, but also works your glutes and your hamstrings. So it's not just your core that is working here, it's recruiting other muscles. So if you're feeling like you can balance, you can also lift your arms up if you're a little bit more advanced. Otherwise, just keep your hands exactly where they are. We're gonna go ahead and lower into low runner's lunge. Flatten out those hands. We're gonna shift into downward dog, flow through our vinyasa, knees, chest, chin. Flatten out the tops of your feet, lifting into baby cobra, hands off of the ground. Bend the knees, take it back. Downward dog. Bring your feet together in your downward dog so your big toes touch. We're gonna go ahead and shift into side plank. Isometric hold in our side plank. So again, this is a little bit more advanced. If this is a little too challenging, you can always bend that bottom leg. Okay, just making sure that you're listening to your body and what works naturally for you. If you are more advanced and you want to challenge yourself, feel free to stack both feet. Now we're going to go ahead and come right back into that downward facing dog. We're going to take it into downward dog split. Same thing on our left side. So stepping forward, walk, crawling the fingertips forward. Finding that warrior 3, finding that sweet spot to balance on. Now, I feel like some of the standing poses, you can really tell the difference between your right and your left side. What side feels stronger?
Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes.
What side you might need to put a little bit more effort in. Option to lift your hands off of the ground. I notice I also have a little micro bend in my knee. That's also just to protect my knee joint. Let's go ahead and lower the hands to the ground if they aren't already. Rebend that leg. We're gonna shift into downward dog. High plank, lower knees, chest, chin. Flatten out those feet. Lift the hands up, baby cobra. Release, bend the knees, take it back. Downward facing dog. Bringing your feet together so your big toes touch. We're gonna do that side plank once again. So bringing your hand towards the middle of the mat so you're feeling nice and stable, and just start to open up, reaching the top arm up towards the ceiling. And we're gonna take that more modified version here. Okay, so bending that knee, keeping that arm lifted, relaxing through your neck and shoulders. If modified isn't enough for you and you want to take it a little bit further, feel free to stack those feet. Totally fine. Just make sure that you're providing a lot of energy throughout your fingertips and pressing the ground away from you. Let's go ahead and lower back into high plank. We're going to take it into downward facing dog. Let's do our final last vinyasa. High plank, lower knees, lower your chest, flatten out those feet. Lift into baby cobra, hands off of the ground, release, and then take downward dog. All right. Let's go ahead and make our way towards the front of our mat. I'm just gonna go ahead and tiptoe my way all the way forward. We're gonna set ourselves up for boat and low boat. So a couple different ways that you can do this. I would love for you to start right here with me, hands on backs of those thighs, drawing those lower abs in. Notice how the weight, my body is shifting a little bit backwards. Palms facing the ceiling, holding right here, finding that sweet spot to balance on. You can also take boat with your heels on the ground, okay? That's also a great place to start, especially if you're new to this. So we're gonna go boat to low boat. So boat here, and then low boat, pointing my toes. Rise up, and then lower. thighs. Let's do 3 more. Now, if you want that challenge, maybe you lift the legs off of the ground. And you're gonna hold right here, come right back up. Bring your hands right by your side. And you're gonna go ahead and extend the legs nice and long. You're just gonna crisscross, okay? Keeping the weight back. Once again, also relaxed in your shoulders. You're gonna be here. You should really start to be feeling that burn in those lower abs. I know I definitely do. You're here for 3. You're here for 2. I know I'm counting slow. And 1. Go ahead and release. Slowly lower yourself all the way to the ground. I'm gonna round out through my spine just so I can lower myself to the ground. Nice, at a comfortable pace. Once you make it all the way down, just go ahead and windshield wiper your knees from side to side.
You need to know what you're getting into. The enemy is everywhere, but he can't be seen. Like me.
Keeping that neutral spine once again. Now, keeping the knees bent, you want to make sure that you can touch those heels with your fingertips. You're setting yourself up for bridge pose. So, energizing through your glutes, keeping your feet parallel, and then you can interlace your fingers underneath you, looking up towards the ceiling, holding right here for 3, for 2, and slowly lower down with ease and control. Now I'm going to take my legs to that 90-degree angle. I'm going to let them fall to the left side. As they fall left, I'm going to cactus my right arm and look over that shoulder, holding right here. Now, if this is a little uncomfortable on your spine, feel free to just go ahead and lie on your back, hugging your knees into your chest. You can also take this with one leg and the other leg extended, if that feels more natural. Let's go ahead and come back center. Let's give both knees a squeeze. Let's go ahead and take it to the opposite side, letting the knees stack. And then opening up that arm, shoulder, cactusing the arm about 90 degrees, and just looking softly over that shoulder. It should feel pretty relaxing. And like I said, on the other side, if this feels like it's pinching something in your spine, then feel free to modify or just lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest. Again, yoga is about moving at your own pace. Really important to listen to your body and what feels great. You can extend the leg, opposite leg long for a deeper twist here. And then we're going to go ahead and make our way back center. We're going to give both knees a nice squeeze and then lift your head off of the ground, holding right here for 3, 2, and then slowly lower everything down to the ground. You're just going to go ahead and extend your legs nice and long, arms by your side, palms face the ceiling. Just go ahead and close your eyes. We're coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Allowing your body to be completely heavy on the mat. Just letting go of any lingering tension that you're holding on to. Any lingering thoughts. Try not to think about what happened before or what might be coming next. This is your chance to kind of stay connected in your current moment, being present. That's why they call it a gift. Staying connected to wherever you are now, which I think is sometimes one of the hardest things to do in a yoga practice, but if you can practice it for even just a few moments, then you're doing something good for your spirit and your mental health. We'll take one more inhale here, and then exhale, side out. Gonna go ahead and start to move your fingers and your toes, just sort of reawakening all of those senses. Bringing your body back to a natural state of breathing. And then bringing your arms up overhead. Point your toes, extending your whole body one last time, like someone were pulling you in opposite directions. And then draw your knees into your chest. Rock gently, side to side. Roll over onto your left side into a fetal position. Nice and comfortable here. And then go ahead and press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position towards the front of your mat. Crossing your feet at the ankles. Getting tall in your spine. You could keep your eyes closed or have a soft gaze here. Take your hands behind your head. Open up your chest towards the ceiling. And then draw your chin to your chest. Kind of finding length in the back of your neck. Let's go ahead and return to a neutral spine. Release your hands down by your knees. We're going to go ahead and inhale your arms all the way up, palms together in high prayer. Slowly lower your hands down towards the center of your chest. Just taking this moment to honor and acknowledge your practice today. Let's bow all the way forward to seal, honor, and complete our practice. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining. Once again, my name is Tracy Copeland. I hope to see you next